We're back with a special Friday edition of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast. Number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. Good morning, everyone. Christian Brindle, Glenn Shelton, episode 104 on a Friday. We thought it was only right that we bring you guys a Friday episode since we were not able to bring you an episode on Monday. So sticking to our 4 episodes a week routine. Good morning. Good morning.
That's right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm assuming you watched the Nuggets game last night.
I actually didn't catch it. I watched the highlights of it though.
Thoughts, feelings.
So Jokic is the one consistent on that team. Everybody else is streaky, for better or for worse, right? So last night they were playing well.
Jamal Murray sick on the injury list before the game, plays through it. Was that his Jordan game 6? Was that his?
I don't know if I'd go that far. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's going to be a game 7. I mean, that's been an awesome series, an amazing series. I think there's a very good chance whoever wins this series probably wins it all.
I think so.
Very good chance of that. So I'll definitely be trying to catch game 7. I think it's Sunday, right?
Sunday, game 7. We got game 6 tonight, Knicks and Celtics, which I don't even know what to think if Celtics somehow come back from this without Tatum. I think that would be crazy.
That would be a crazy comeback story, an inspirational story of sorts. I wanted to start off. So we have a great episode for you guys today. We're going to be doing a little game of buy, sell, or hold on certain insurance products, similar to a stock, right? If you were buying, selling, or holding a stock or giving advice on a stock, like if you had to buy stock in these products where we're at right now in the current trajectory of things. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited for this episode, but I wanted to kind of start off with, and I just won't, I'm not going to say the carrier's name on the pod. But big national carrier puts out the announcement that,
Allstate.
Puts out the announcement that they are going to be pulling commissions on new business for their PDP products, Part D prescription drug plan products, for anything that's an application date of 6/1 and beyond. They're still going to honor commissions renewals previous to that date. Prior to that, there was really only 3 national carriers that were paying PDP commissions. And now we're down to 2, and one of those 2 pays probably a quarter of what the regular commission is. And so, the PDP market, right, going in a certain direction. I know we're going to talk, the PDP plan is on my list of buy, sell, or hold. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But, when you heard that news, what was your thoughts? What was your initial reaction?
This was kind of being speculated with what happened during, AEP last year. We already saw a little bit of this from another bigger carrier where they were looking at, cutting comp, pulling comp from Part D. Honestly, guys, and some of you might disagree with this, but my first thought is, if PDPs become, let's just assume this is a trend that we're going to continue to see. Let's assume that Part D becomes completely non-commissionable. My belief is that it will become more important than ever to help your clients with Part D. Because let me tell you what's going to happen with the vast majority of brokers and insurance agents and agencies out there. Because there's no commission attached to it, a lot of people will stop doing it entirely. They'll say, call Medicare. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. We saw this early on with MedSub. I saw this personally in the MedSub space, where a lot of people either didn't want to deal with the compliance around Part D, or they didn't feel like there was enough money in Part D, and so they wouldn't handle anything related to Part D. And ultimately what you're doing is you're leaving the door open from a retention standpoint. Someone else will do it. Someone else will help them with their Part D, even if it becomes non-commissionable. And from a customer service standpoint, I think it's also the right thing to do. So I think regardless of comp, and I mean, again, in the grand scheme of things, how much were we really making on Part D anyways, guys? Right? Like, I don't know. I know some of you get really fired up about this, and anytime
Mhm.
commissions being taken away, I get that. I trust me, I do. The last thing I want is to lose commission on a sale, right? But in the grand scheme of things, I also kind of see the bigger picture here where I also need the carrier to be profitable in order for my business model to continue. So if paying us and taking a loss is hurting the carrier, it's a two-way street. We talk about the FMO relationship all the time on the pod.
Mhm.
How an agent needs to be profitable in helping the FMO grow so the FMO can be profitable and help that agent grow. And it's that two-way street. So I know that might be a little polarizing for some who might hear that and think I'm like anti-agent or something, but I'm trying to be realistic. I'm trying to kind of see the bigger picture here with what's going on.
So the pushback that agents would have, right, that might be listening to this, that might have a bit of a different opinion is that we don't work for free, right? That's what the
Right.
argument would be
Right.
for agents that held a different position. Um, somebody asked me kind of what we were going to be doing internally when it comes to PDP. First off, this carrier, and I refuse to say the name. I don't want to do it. Because this show goes everywhere. Um, but this carrier in particular wasn't one that we were seeing being super competitive anyway on PDP. For one, we weren't doing a lot of business with them on the PDP side of things. I think it's more of a situation of few options become fewer, and that's
Right.
kind of the concern.
Right.
But my response was, this was kind of my thought process in the moment was, we're going to do the two that we can still do that most of the time are more competitive, that we're probably writing more of anyway. And if another plan comes out to be better for the client, we have them self-enroll kind of thing. But we'd still figure it out for them. That was kind of
Right.
what I was, you know, that was kind of the approach I was thinking we were taking. But I think it does change things if it goes into a world where there's no comp on any PDP plans. It's a tricky thing. Like, some people will say you should teach the clients to do it themselves. There's agencies doing that now, educating them on how to run their own comps and self-enroll them and everything like that. Um, there's also a conversation about it to where if there's no commissionable plans whatsoever, let's say you run a drug comp for somebody and for some reason it's wrong and you advise them to go enroll into a plan, but it's not a plan that you carry, there could be like a compliance issue of that, right? If there was like a bad situation. So it gets a little convoluted and a little complicated at that point. Um, I wonder if agents do continue to do it for clients, they'd have to have them sign some kind of understanding, some type of disclaimer saying that, we don't
Legal.
represent these,
Right.
we don't legally represent these plans, and any information we're using is based off of these systems that we're using to run the drug comps. I don't know. I haven't had enough time to think about that portion of it, since there are still few national carriers that are paying. But those are some of my early thoughts. Those are some of the pushbacks I think agents that might be listening to this might have to.
Well, I think helping them self-enroll kind of covers both sides of it, right? Because it's not you're not the writing agent if they're self-enrolling, right?
Right.
But you're still doing the service of, hey, based on what you're telling me, this is what I would recommend. You know, this is how you would sign up for that plan.
Right.
And then having them self-enroll. What I'm against is completely punting it and saying, I don't do that. Go talk to
Right.
someone else. Just because, again, I've seen historically I've seen, and maybe this is something where we will see change in the near future because of the technology around underwriting and with AI, with prescription drugs. Maybe it will get to a point where something like self-enrolling will become super easy. But I think if you just tell them, go somewhere else, I'm not going to
Mhm.
talk to you about that. I think you're leaving the door open for someone else to come in and work with your client.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's a bad way to handle it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, um, I think there's going to be a way where we can still provide a value add to that client without it being the time suck that it's always been, right? Because a lot of Medicare agents, they'll say like the biggest time suck for them is a PDP comparisons, PDP reviews, that type of thing. When it comes to running the comparisons, that's why you need a virtual assistant.
That's right.
You silly gooses. Um,
Don't be a wackadoo.
Don't be a
Get your
wackadoo,
Don't be a
as
wackadoo.
a wise man once said. But, um, but yeah, I think it's just gonna. I think finding a way to still provide those types of solutions to your clients, I think is imperative. Because you're right, the PDP has always been a value add to the client, but
Right.
it adds up. It adds up. I don't know exactly how much money we make off PDPs internally, but it's not nothing.
Sure.
It's not nothing. It's a nice amount of coin. But I think if anything, what I'm happy to see is, that this carrier didn't pull a WellCare and just clearly I'm more afraid of this carrier than WellCare, by the way. But they didn't pull a WellCare and cut past commissions. No one really has done that yet other than them. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll have to kind of stay tuned on this and see, what this looks like in the future. We don't, we have the prophet on the podcast with us, so that's the good news. You guys is Christian can see somewhat into the future. I don't know exactly how his powers work, but there's a little bit of foresight that he gets into some of these things. So obviously we'll make sure to get that information out of him for you guys as quickly as we can, as soon as we know more.
Here, I have a prediction about this
Okay.
situation right
Okay,
now.
here we
There's
go.
something coming to me. Oh! um, I see.
uh,
I see no commissions in PDP with any
yeah,
carriers with any plans. That's what I
for
see.
for sure. Yeah.
When I don't know. If you had to put a gun to my head, I'd say in the next 12 months, sometime in there.
Yeah, 12 to 24 months. I think we see commissions go away completely with PDP. And there were some people, I remember when this whole thing last year with WellCare happened, there were some people who came out and they're like, that's 6 figures in renewal income I just lost because I have 30,000 clients on the book. I get it. I get it. And I'm against agents not getting paid and doing work for free. I'm totally against that. I just think we have to evolve. We have to figure out how to take care of the client, still get paid by helping them with all their other needs. There's got to be a solution to this where everybody can win, including the carrier. Including the carrier. I honestly think most agents probably don't care at all if a carrier is profitable. They're probably not even thinking about that. They're probably like, I
For
don't
sure.
care if the carrier makes money or not. I just want to get paid when I
I don't
write
care if I
business.
make money. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and I was that way too at one point, but at this point in time, I'm like, well, if the carrier's in deep trouble and they're losing money hand over fist, that's probably going to affect me and my business. So I'd like them to be profitable and doing well so I can continue to do well. Like, I'm here for longevity, you guys. I want this to work long term. I'm not here just to get paid tomorrow or next month, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of nearsightedness in this industry from a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I wanna make sure we have as much time as possible to get into this buy, sell, hold thing because it might take a minute.
Yeah.
We might because not only do we have to give our answers on if we would choose to buy, sell, or hold a position of these certain products, we also have to give our insight into why we came to that conclusion. as my teachers would tell me in school, and I never do it, they'd be like, show your work. I'd be like, why? How can I do that when I cheated?
Hang on. Before we move on, there's something in the comments here. A prediction that I want to run by the prophet and see what he thinks. The prediction is, it's from Will. I see ACA commissions either going away or being dramatically reduced by 2027. Thoughts, feelings, crystal ball revelations. What do you have for us?
I would like to save my thoughts until we get to ACA on the buy, sell, or hold, because I don't want to.
Okay, fair.
I don't want to prematurely. I'm not going to say the word I was thinking.
Lord. This is why we don't do Friday episodes, you guys.
Gets kind of weird by the end of the week.
By the end of the week, Christian and I are circling the drain, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Premature.
All right, Christian, who's sponsoring this wacky episode today of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast, episode 104?
Guys, today's sponsor of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast is none other than Seven Figure University. If you haven't heard already, from now, today being May 16th, until May 30th, so another 14 days or so, 2 weeks, it will be over 85% off. Seven Figure University is our online training platform that I built. It also includes other courses with it, like Go High Level courses, like Glenn's How to Sell and Present Final Expense and Medicare Supplement course. It's just a slew of content. It is A to Z how to build your business. It goes over real high-level sales skills, scripting, presentations, overcoming objections, cross-selling, goes into marketing, how to generate your own leads on Facebook, up-to-date Facebook training. We completely are rebuilding it literally right now. And you get access to all the updated material. It's lifetime subscription. It's typically $5,000. It's only $695.95 for the next 2 weeks. And we have not discounted it once this year. This is literally the first time that we've discounted it all year. We used to do it a little bit more often. We're not anymore. Point blank, we feel like the value is there, and we don't feel like it's really worth discounting that often anymore. And so, we haven't done it up until now, and I can't guarantee we'll do it again this year. So this could be the only time this year, potentially, that you can get in for this much of a discount. $695.95 lifetime access, no yearly subscriptions other than that. Seven Figure University. Make sure to get in while you can.
Boom.
All right, let's shift gears. Let's shift gears into main topic, shall we? All right, so buy, sell, or hold.
Yes.
If you are just tuning in and you don't know the rules of this is going to be a segment that we do to where we go through different product types, and based on how things are going right now in terms of the viability of the product, the future of the product, are you bearish or are you bullish, right? As if you were buying stock in this product line, right? Similar to the market. And you have to give an answer of buy, sell, or hold and explain why. So to start off, I have a list of products here, and I thought we'd start off with a product line that you don't hear much about right now: short-term care plans. Short-term care plans, right? So your alternative to long-term care plans, covers people for up to a year in a long-term care facility like assisted living or nursing home. Short-term care plans. Glenn Shelton, buy, sell, or hold?
Short-term care. That's man. I felt like you gave me a curveball out the gate here. This is a tough one. I feel like it's a hold for me. I wouldn't sell it and I wouldn't buy it. It's something that I'd probably hang on to if I already had it. If you're already contracted with short-term care carriers, if you've sold a few policies, and I'm sure another insurance type that we'll discuss is long-term care, but so I don't want to like ruin that, but with long-term care being so much less viable than it once was, short-term care can actually be really attractive from an underwriting standpoint, from a cost standpoint. It has a place. It does. I don't love it. I'm not obsessed with it. There's actually some organizations out there who focus a ton on it. Bankers Life is one of them, where they will literally go knock doors to sell short-term care. And that wouldn't be my mentality at all. Like, it's bonkers to me that someone would be like, hey, we're going to build a business on short-term care. But the flip side of it is I've seen it work. I've seen where it makes sense. I've seen where clients actually want it, where prospects want it. And because of long-term care's less viable situation, there is a place for it. So hold, sir, out the gate. That's hold. We're holding.
All right. So you're holding on to your position with short-term care. You're not dumping it. You're not buying more. You're not buying the dip. You're
not
holding.
Absolutely not buying the dip. But we'll hold on to it. It can't hurt. It'll appreciate probably to some degree, right?
Yes. So okay. So my answer: buy, sell, or hold on short-term care plans.
You're really getting a kick out of this, I can tell. You're loving it. Guys, Christian doesn't play games, so this is a big deal for him, okay?
I love games, okay? Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Maybe we'll turn this into a board game for you guys. Buy, sell, hold. Insurance verticals.
5 people buy it. Biggest insurance nerds in the world. Roll the dice, honey. Let's see if you're gonna buy, sell, or hold.
Oh, I just landed on short-term care.
My wife left me because I kept playing insurance buy, sell, or hold game and family evenings.
Oh my gosh. Insurance buy, sell, hold. I want to see a TV commercial for it.
Hey kids, are you bored with the video games or playing outside? Well, now you have insurance buy, sell, hold.
Monopoly's so lame and overrated.
Tired of playing a game that's older than your grandpa? Time to buy insurance buy, sell, hold. These kids, they're like, there's no way that Medicare supplements I'll buy. They're arguing with each other. They're like,
I love fixed index IULs. These are amazing. Cash value life insurance is amazing.
Oh, I need this commercial to happen now. I don't know how many actors we have to hire. And
yeah, maybe I'll get my kids to film it. Guys, here we go. Action. Okay. All right. Buy, sell, hold. Short-term care. Mr. Brindle.
I am a buyer. I'm building a position. I'm building a position on STC Island. I'm putting some property up. I'm
what I need like a scale of buyer, like on the bullet, like 1 to 10. How bullish are you?
We need to add this to every single one. So I would be an 8 out of 10.
Wow, you're very bullish.
Here's why. And there's some other ancillary products that we will get to that I don't, and so I won't say their names, but I feel like I'm not as bullish on them as I was. I feel like everybody wants help with long-term care coverage, but there's not a lot of great ways to get that coverage these days. And, I ran a quote for someone the other day just for fun, just like looking at what the prices we're looking at right now. For a lot of seniors, especially like people 65 to 70, a lot of markets, you can still get a pretty good plan for under $100 a month. It's not that expensive, So I am a buyer of short-term care. I'm
Wow.
building a position on
I thought you
short-term
might
care.
be bullish, but I think you're a lot more bullish than I would have guessed. I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are. Go
All
work for
right.
bankers. Go
Well,
work for bankers.
I've accepted a job, by the way. Seemed intriguing. Seemed like I could do it on the side of ESI. No
I think
biggie.
that's fair. No conflicts there. No conflicts.
All right. Shifting gears. Next product on the docket, on the board, is its counterpart, long-term care. Buy, sell, or hold.
It's like what's Jim Cramer's show called?
Mad Money.
Yeah, It's like Mad Money. Sell. You know,
Sell,
he
sell, sell,
has
sell, sell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Boom, he hits his back. Sell. Long-term care was a great product at one point. We've talked about the death of MedSup on the show, and in my opinion, long-term care has essentially already died. I know there's probably some people out there who still sell it, who still have maybe a little niche for it, and that's great. Hats off to you guys if you can make it work. But me personally, the idea of spending a lot of time, energy, or money to pursue this product line just doesn't fit into a modern paradigm for me. I think the underwriting is too strenuous. I think the cost is absurd. And I just don't see how you can really like put it into a primary, especially when we're early in this conversation of different product lines. But when we get to the end of this and you see how many options with a life health license you have, it's hard to justify putting long-term care anywhere in your toolbox because you can only have really so many in your toolbox, right? So I'm selling. Sell.
Yeah, I thought long and hard about this one. Considered long-term care, took it out to dinner, had a conversation with it. But ultimately I'm dumping my position in long-term care. I'm sell.
Yes.
For all the reasons that you said, right? Very high prices, not a lot of carriers willing to play in the market right now, right, with it. So there's not a lot of competition. Just seeing kind of the domino effects of long-term care policies from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They're jacking the prices up through the roof. They're trying to bait their policyholders to take buyouts and all of those things. I think the product line, like you said, it's very dead for the most part. And so for that reason, I am a seller when it comes to LTC, long-term care. All right, next on the docket, home health care plans.
Ooh, we got some good ones here. Home health care plans. I actually like home health care plans. I think that they're underrated. I think a lot of people pass on these. I'm bullish, but it's like a light bullish. It's like
How much out of 10?
I'd say probably like a 3 or 4 out of 10. Like I'm definitely like, if you're like looking at like the sell to buy and holds like in the middle, like I'm just like a little past hold. Like I would have it in my toolbox. It's probably going to be at the back. It's not going to be something I necessarily lead with, but what I like about home health care is I think from a beneficiary standpoint, it's something that they find really enticing. I think a lot of people don't want to go to the doctor. A lot of people don't want to go to the hospital. So if you're a senior and you get sick, what do? If you have something that's a long-term illness, if you have a chronic disability, your preference, if you had to choose between going to the hospital all the time or having someone come out to your house to help you, obviously you would choose that latter, right? You'd rather have someone come out to your house. I'm not super familiar with the premiums on this product, to be honest. I've never personally written a home health care policy. I've heard good things through the agent grapevine about it. I don't feel like I hear very many people selling it, which is part of the reason probably why I am slightly bullish too. I like the whole kind of, everyone zig zag idea,
Mhm.
right? Where if nobody's selling it and you're the one out there talking about it, people are going to be interested in what you're saying. Like, oh, I didn't know I could get a policy like that, or I'd never heard about something like that. So I'd say a 4 out of 10, but definitely leaning on the bullish side with this one.
Got it. Got it. So, well, home healthcare plans for me, I'm gonna hold. I'm not comfortable building my position. I'm not really wanting to buy the dip as much. Um, I'm,
What's a premium like on a typical home healthcare plan? Any idea?
it varies, but usually I see because all these plans are customizable, right? So you can add things to them, take things away, impact the premium. But I'd say about in most states, $50 to $70 a month.
See, that's pretty reasonable.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm a hold. I've never. So here's the thing with home
I'm
health care.
old.
Here's the thing with home health care. I've never
Old.
I've I've never been super bullish on the product, and the reason is because it is so very specific, right? Because Medicare covers home health care. Um, what Medicare doesn't cover is like your custodial care type of things.
Right,
So,
right.
and that's where the home health care would kind of chip in. It would cover some of those more obscure areas of home health care that um, Medicare wouldn't cover. But I look at that as so much more of like a luxury than a need, if you will. But I think it's valuable. I think there's people out there that would want it. So I'm not crazy about the product, but at the same time, I'm not dumping it either. You know what I mean? I think I feel comfortable just hanging on to my shares and seeing what happens with home health care.
What statistically though, so with the custodial care, right?
Mhm.
Statistically, how many seniors do you think are going to end up falling at some point in their life into that bucket of potentially needing it though? It's got to be a big number, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one. So for us, right? Like we have a lot of clients, as you know. Um,
I do. I do know this.
they're yours too. Um,
Yes, I do know this.
um, but I would say we probably get less than 5 calls a year asking for that type of benefits if their plan
But
covers that type of benefits.
yeah, okay.
So now here's the thing. You're thinking about like the totality of someone's life, that type of thing.
Yes, yes.
The other argument to that is like if you're needing that, because custodial care for the listeners, right? For those of you that don't know, custodial care is getting help dressing, going to the bathroom, like
Daily
getting
living
in and out of the
activities.
shower, doing
Yeah,
activities. A lot of people might end up in a long-term care facility if they really need that day in and day out around the
it's
clock,
kind of
right?
a fine line, yeah.
Yeah. So like even if you had a home health care policy and you're getting home health care, is that a permanent solution for you? For most people, probably not, even with that.
Probably temporary. I think part of the reason why I'm bullish on this too is the business side. What I've seen, I've talked to some people who work in home health care, and then I've also read some about like the growth in that sector. They're saying that home healthcare businesses are going to be huge. They're just going to continue to grow, and I do
I can
believe
believe that.
that.
Yeah, I believe
But
that.
I do see what you're saying too, though. It's a very nichey product in the sense that it's a fine line between needing a little bit of help at home and needing to be in a facility somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's tricky, right? And then like other times you have people that like are in that situation and they're living on their own. They go live with their kids, their families, things
right.
like that, you know what I mean? And
They come
so
help them. Yeah,
I don't see like super long drawn out situations, There's usually three scenarios that happen within a pretty decent period of time or shorter period of time of that being necessary, but they either their spouse helps them. I guess there's 4. Their spouse helps them. They go live with their kids. They go in a long-term care facility, or unfortunately they pass.
Yeah.
That's usually what I see. So that's my only reason, right? Is like
That
it's
makes
very
sense.
nichey, and it's not something that's probably going to be a long-term viable solution for someone, I guess.
With hundreds of insurance agents and agency owners at the event, this could not be a better opportunity to spotlight your business. If you're looking for a sponsorship opportunity and where to spend your sponsorship dollars this year, the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit is the spot to do it. You can have your own booth. You can network with agents. This is the 4th annual summit, so there's going to be a lot of agents there and a lot of agents who are looking for help from vendors for leads, educational vendors. You could have a software tool. There's so many great vendors that we've had in the past, and we're looking at a lot of great opportunities for businesses to sponsor at the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit. So if you are looking for a sponsorship opportunity, make sure to check out 7figuresmedicareagentsummit.com.
Get your tickets today while they're still available, and reach out about sponsorship opportunities. We'd love to have you involved with the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit in 2025. Now back to the show. That's my logic.
It feels very short-term care-ish for me as far as like that nichiness of the product.
Yeah, short-term care definitely has its problems because it won't pay for more than a year in a facility. But that's still a lot more than a home health care plan would pay.
That's true.
And a year is not great, but like there's long-term care policies that we're covering 2 years, 3 years, things like that. Yeah.
By the way,
I understand the decision to be bullish. I understand the decision.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
I
just wanted some
I
wanted some validation, okay? I was just waiting for that. Sidebar here really fast though. Whatever happened with your dad's long-term care policy? Remember how he got offered that buyout? What did he do?
We just talked about it. I think what he decided to do was he took it's because there were multiple options. There was like 4 or 5 options. If I remember right, I think what he did was he took a lesser benefit to reduce the premium. I don't even know if it reduced the premium. I think it just kept the premium where it was. It prevented it from going up, and the benefit got reduced.
We talked about the 5 options, right? I think there was 5 options. Yeah, so that's what he ended up going with.
Yeah, I believe so.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking about that as you mentioned it.
Yeah, super interesting, those situations. All right, dental, vision, hearing. Buy, sell, hold.
Buy. Buy. Just hit my buy button over here. I'm a 9.5 out of 10 on DVH. I love DVH. I think it has such great. I was just talking to an agency yesterday about DVH, and they were talking about bringing new agents in and potentially, especially during the off season, like right now, having them solely focus on DVH to get started, to cut their teeth. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea at all. You have something that's guaranteed issue. They can, depending on the plan in the area, like you might be able to use these benefits right away. It's very reasonably priced. It has such great marketing opportunities too, to have that combo. Back in the day, I remember people used to do these combo mailers. I don't know if these even exist anymore, but they'd send mail out, and it would be like, check boxes for what you're interested in, and they'd have like 4 or 5 or 6 different things you could check boxes on. And the combo mailers were fire back in the day because you're casting a wide net, and chances are someone's going to be interested. So from a marketing standpoint, dental, vision, hearing has that same kind of wide net approach where chances are a senior is going to need help with one of those 3 things. It's also a common gap in these Medicare policies, right? A lot of times, whatever they have, Medicare Advantage or supplement, it might not have dental, vision, hearing coverage in there. So it works really well with their existing plan, or it can be its own standalone plan. The underwriting is simple, guaranteed issue. The benefits can a lot of times be used right away. I love it. I love dental, vision, hearing. It'd probably be my number one ancillary. If I had to pick one ancillary product, it's the one. It's the one.
It's the one.
It's the one.
I don't have a ton to add to that. I'm also
Yeah,
a
you
buy.
do.
I'm also a
Yeah,
buy.
you do.
The only thing I think I'd add to that is there are more dental plans and more dental, vision, hearing option plans today than there's ever been, which is great, right? That breeds competition. Benefits are better than they've ever been. Like, I put myself on the Physicians Mutual dental plan for me and my family, and it has no maximum payout limit. I still don't understand that. I still am like flabbergasted by that. Last time I went in to see my dentist, I'm pretty chummy with the billing lady, and I come out of my appointment. She's like, this is a good plan. I'm like, did you expect anything else? I'm like, did you expect anything else?
Do you know who wrote it? Do you know who wrote this plan? Guess who the writing agent was?
She used to call me for questions about Medicare dental plans because they were having trouble billing them, and she'd call me and be like, I don't understand. What does this plan do? I'm like, well, Andrea, it's this. Da, 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 da. And I'd walk her through it.
Yeah.
So she knows. She knows.
Yeah.
No, I'm at least a 9 out of 10. I could be talked into the 9.5 out of 10.
Is it your number? Would you say it's your number one? Your number one ancillary?
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
we've sold a lot of it over the years. I love it, and I love how many options there are with it today. So not a lot to be said there. All right, let's kick into overdrive because I want to make sure we get to everything. All right, PDP. Kind of already talked about this a little bit starting off the show. Obviously, I'm a sell. Get all my money out of that position. I'm out.
Yeah, it's not something you want to. It's like a necessary evil in my mind. It's not something you want to put a bunch of time, energy, and effort into. If anything, you're going the opposite direction, right? You're trying to figure out how can I help my beneficiaries with this need without eating up my time, without eating up my resources. So, I'm a sell on this as well for sure.
Hospital indemnity plans, HIPs. Buy, sell, or hold. I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer on this plan. I'm probably like a 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
On it. I think as Medicare Advantage grows and it's more and more viable, this is more and more attractive to sell. It also goes great with ACA plans. There's a lot of indemnity plans that are built to go with ACA plans. So it goes with so many different types of health insurance plans. The only type of health insurance plan you really couldn't sell one with is a Medicare supplement. And so, yeah, I think it's a great plan. Very, very bullish on hospital indemnity plans.
I am also a buyer on hospital indemnity plans. I'd say 7 out of 10. I think that it's probably my number 2 after DVH. I think it's, again, one of those products that just fits in so nicely with existing Medicare plans, with Medicare Advantage especially. It's also very reasonably priced. It's a benefit that I think offers a lot of value, reasonably priced, fits in with those Medicare Advantage plans. And I also just, again, the agent grapevine and some of our clients that we work with on the Lead Hero side, I know they do really well offering hospital indemnity to their existing book of business. So it's a great cross sell. It's a great bundle sell. It's just a great product. It really is. I love it.
Yep. No argument here. We are aligned. Cancer plans, and I guess you could group in cancer, heart attack, and stroke plans. Buy, sell, or hold. I'm I'm a hold.
I was gonna
on
say
this
hold
one.
too.
So here's my thoughts on this one, right? I think it depends on what you're selling it with, right? Like the big argument for selling it with Medicare, if you were selling it with a med sup, there was a ton of risk potential on the drug coverage, right? Because there was no max out of pocket on the drug coverage. Well, now there is a max out of pocket on the drug coverage. There's no medical out of pocket potential on a med sup. So do you really need it with a med sup? You could probably make a strong argument no at this point. Medicare Advantage, you need, the argument for it was you pay 20% chemotherapy, radiation up to the max out of pocket on Medicare Advantage plans. And some Medicare Advantage plans have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 max out of pockets. So that's pretty much a guarantee you're going to hit it. So that was valuable there, plus the drug coverage. But again, the drug coverage hole is plugged a little bit because there's a max out of pocket there. You could maybe still talk me into it a little bit for an MA plan, but it's not as much of a no-brainer as I feel like it was. I feel like the best place to sell it these days is probably ACA business more than anything else because they have huge deductibles, larger max out of pockets, those types of things. But I'm a hold. I'm not ready to dump my shares on it yet, but I'm probably not doubling up either.
I'm really close to selling on this. I'm really close to selling. I'm like maybe even a 1 out of 10 on selling. I'm like just on the end of the hold. And let me tell you why. From a marketing perspective, I think marketing these plans is very difficult compared to some of these other products that we've talked about from a marketing perspective. So cancer, and the sad part about this for me too is I used to be a buyer for sure. I used to think cancer coverage was arguably my number 2 ancillary that I would say everyone should be offering and selling and bundling in. Here's where it gets dicey is if you're marketing it, if you're trying to lead with it, if you're trying to sell it up front, it's difficult because a lot of the times those leads that come back are people who already have cancer. And so you're trying to offer a product to a group of people who can't qualify for it. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it makes the underwriting really difficult. I think there's an approach with the product that makes sense. I think if it is kind of a bundle where you're coming in on the backside of something else, you're already there, you've already got them sold on XYZ, and you're kind of saying, hey, by the way, 50% of people over the age of 60 are going to have some form of cancer they deal with. We can get a cancer benefit built into this for an extra $60 a month, or however you bundle it, however you decide to pitch it. That's a great way of doing it, but marketing it as a standalone product is what really kills it for me. I don't think it's a great marketable standalone product. I think it's a great bundle product. I'm a low hold, borderline sell on this one. And part of it too, guys, is you can only have so many that you're super bullish on. You can't be bullish on everything. If you are, you're not going to have any success in this industry. You can't be like, Mrs. Jones, I've got 20 products to sell you today. Sit down. And like you're trying to go through everything.
Yeah.
Like you gotta pick a few and then ride with those.
ACA, kind of circling back on that question from earlier, right?
Yeah, here we go. The profit.
I'm a seller.
Oh,
seller on ACA right now. I'm a seller. Compliance titans.
Compliance titans.
We're they're having conversations about all different types of radical things. We're kind of starting to see on the ACA side, as the compliance starts to maybe slightly, just ever so slightly lift off of Medicare, it's like, someone loses 5 pounds, someone else gains it kind of thing. If someone gets less compliance on a certain product type, it goes somewhere else. The focus goes somewhere else, the spotlight. The question about the commissions, I really don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they got dropped a little bit. I don't see them going non-commissionable though. I don't know if we're there yet, but I do see the commissions start to drop a little bit. ACA seems to always be a couple of years behind whatever's going on in Medicare. So the trends of what we're seeing in Medicare, compliance wise, non-commissionable plans, commissions dropped, all that kind of stuff. Whatever we're seeing happening in Medicare, we'll probably start seeing in ACA in a few years. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. So I don't know. I think most of the time it's an easy enrollment to do, but it's harder than ever to become AOR for somebody. It's kind of a pain.
What's your 1 out of 10? What's your sell number on this?
I'd probably be a 6 out of 10.
Ooh, okay.
And if I'm in terms of selling, but yeah, I'm dumping my shares, getting my money out, rolling it into something else.
Sell. I am also a seller on this one. I'm like a 9 out of 10 selling on this one. Gonna be honest, I've never liked the under 65 health market. A little piece of me dies when someone calls me and says, "Hey, I want leads for under 65 health." I'm like, I don't want to help you. And I'll tell you why. There's many reasons why I don't like this market. Many reasons. One is historically we saw what happened before with under 65 health. They cut commissions. The commissions disappeared. People went out of business overnight, right? That was what, back in 2006? I mean, it was a long time ago. Maybe I'm totally off on the year.
08, 09,
08,
2010, stuff like that.
Somewhere between like 07 and 10. Okay. So I was there when that happened. Like I saw that happen. I wasn't in the industry yet, but I saw it happen. I knew what was going on. So that puts a bad taste in my mouth before I even get in the industry. Then you start to see it come back a little bit. Then the no call leads thing became so big, and I hated that. Absolutely hated that. You guys need to go watch that episode of the pod if you haven't seen it. We talked all about the no call leads for the under 65 health. The AOR changing that was going on. People were getting their plans flipped 40, 50 times a year. Now all the compliance crackdowns coming into it. There's so many reasons. Marketing it, I think, sucks. Trying to market to the under 65 health market. Like there's so many reasons why I don't like this product. There's so many reasons why. You're LOA essentially. You're not direct to the carrier, right?
You can be direct to the carrier.
I guess it depends on the carrier.
So like most carriers, you can go direct to them and you get paid direct from them. But if you are building an agency and you want any kind of overrides, you can't. You have to be under an FMO, and the FMOs can get their special deals because they're so big. They bring so much volume.
Right. So yeah, 9 out of 10 sell. It's probably my least favorite one we've talked about so far, to be honest.
Final expense.
Ooh.
Buy, seller, hold. I'm a buyer.
Yeah, baby.
I'm a buyer. I'm building a position. Final expense island. I'm building a big old house on it. People can come stay for the weekend if they want. Great view, great weather on Final Expense Island.
Final Expense Island.
I think it's probably the number one, if not one. It's got to be top 2 or 3 ways right now if you're a Medicare agent, to be diversifying your book, and cross-selling it, finding ways to sell it together compliantly, of course. And I'm really bullish on it. We've spent a lot of time this year kind of like working on integrating systems and processes and lead types and everything, really trying to crack the code on how we can become super proficient at it like we are at Medicare. And I feel like we're making a lot of progress, but yeah, I'm super bullish on it, and I'm very, very determined for it to become a huge part of our business.
Super bullish as well on Final Expense. I'd probably say 8 out of 10. It's right up there with dental vision hearing. I think it's something that a huge number of seniors have a need for. I think it can be very affordable. I think it's something that's has a way of marketing as a standalone product. I think it's something that's, simple from an underwriting standpoint. There's guaranteed issue options. The commissions are decent. Like there's so many reasons why I like this product. I've sold personally a lot of final expense. If I had to guess, usually seniors fall into kind of one of three categories. They either have no coverage for their funeral costs, they don't have enough coverage, or they do happen to have a policy. But I would say probably 2/3 of seniors fall into that category of not enough coverage or no coverage at all. So huge need for it out there. I'm a buyer. 8 out of 10. Buy, 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 buy.
Mortgage protection, buy, sell, hold.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
I'm a seller.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a seller.
You're a sellout. You're a sellout.
I feel like it's a product that's viable. It's always been viable, but the thing about it is it has to be so specific, right? Like, it has expiration dates. It takes a lot longer to issue a lot of times, especially for Medicare beneficiaries. There's a lot more underwriting that goes into it. And the commissions are less than a lot of other life products. And so I'm kind of more of a seller than anything else. Like I just don't feel comfortable holding that stock right now.
I don't know how to categorize my feelings on this one. I think it's a very seasonal product in the sense that it's attached to the success of the housing market. If you have a really hot housing market, I think it's actually a great product. The problem is when the housing market dies, mortgage protection dies with it. You need a lot of housing transactions to be going on to be able to facilitate that type of lead flow. And I just think it's not. It's almost like at best, it's like a supplementary source of income. It's really hard, especially in I would guess in today's housing market. The lead costs that I hear about mortgage protection, it's astronomical. And if you start to pay, if your CPA is too high, it starts to really eat into your profit as an agent selling it. So I guess I'd say I'm like a low hold, maybe a very low sell, maybe like a 1 out of 10 sell, or just on the bottom of that hold. But I think it could change. I think there's some give and take on this one for me.
Yeah, with me being in a sell mood when it comes to mortgage protection, I'm just barely a sell. I think you talked me into moving up almost to hold, but I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet.
Your little bear.
I might
Little bear on this.
I might sell off some of the position, let a little hang around. We'll see. Not a full exit. I know we're getting close to top of the hour, but we got a few more to go.
We got to get them.
Med-Sup, Medicare supplement, buy, sell, or hold. For me, I'm a hold right now.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say sell.
No, I can't do it. I got too much emotional attachment. I can't bear to see it go. It's like that girlfriend that is bad for you, but you just keep getting back together.
The way you talk about insurance products, clinically insane. Clinically insane.
No, I feel like I've made my predictions about what I think is going to happen and where we're headed with it. But I think there's a chance that I'm not right about that and I'm wrong, and that's why I'm willing to roll the dice and hold on to it and see what happens. But it's very volatile right now. Very volatile. This
very volatile.
The analysts are telling you to sell. You're trusting your gut. You're hanging on for dear life, hoping for the best. But I'm not comfortable increasing my position by any means.
I'm buying. I'm a buyer.
Ooh,
I'm Med-Sup. I'm buying. I'm building the position. Everyone's going left. I'm going right. I still love you, Med-Sup. I think there's a path forward for you. I know we've had some difficult times together, Med-Sup, but I think the niche of it, especially when I look at the interim of, let's say, 2 to 3 years, I think if we were saying 5 to 10 years, like if we're talking about a longer period of time, I'm probably a hold to a sell. I like the interim on this product. I really do. I'm a buy. I'm probably like a 4 or 5 out of 10 buy. So I'm building a position. It's not a huge one, but I am buying on MedSup.
Break the presses. The reporters are rushing to the scene to get an exclusive interview.
That's just it.
It's just shocking. Maybe we can do a lightning round on this one super fast. There's 4 more. 3 of them are specific MedSup plans. So
okay.
Plan G, buy, sell, or hold. I'm probably
what GN, what's the 3? Just do all 3 at once.
GN high deductible plans.
GN high deductible. Okay.
So I think for G, I'm a sell and I'm a hold. High deductible plans, I'm probably just barely a hold. I'm almost ready to sell.
I'm a buy on G.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna buy N, and I'm gonna hold high deductibles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very bullish on the MedSup.
I'm bullish on MedSup still, you guys. I'm keeping MedSup alive. I'm a buyer. I'm a bull.
Last but not least, Medicare Advantage.
Oh.
Buy, sell, or hold. I'm buying. I'm 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10 buying. Because and I talked about this a lot yesterday on the show, but just to kind of reiterate, I believe it's where the market is going. I believe it's what everybody in power wants. And so they're going to force it to happen, regardless of what you're seeing. Providers not taking it, no problem. They'll either go out of business or they'll play ball eventually. Not being in rural areas will expand into the rural areas over the next couple of years. Funding going up. Just I just feel like you can't tell me in the next 10 to 20 years that Medicare Advantage doesn't just eclipse everything else in the Medicare market. We've already moving in that direction for 15 years, and it's just looking like more of the same. So I'm a buyer. I'm stocking up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Also a buyer. I think this is the future of Medicare, whether you like it or not. This is what the government wants. This is what most beneficiaries, I would say, want. Gone are the days of plans changing every year. There was this point in time where Medicare Advantage seemed like the inferior option to Medigap, original Medicare, but those days have come and gone, and Medicare Advantage has gotten very strong. The plans have gotten very strong. They're benefit rich in a lot of areas. Like we talked about yesterday, the math around Medicare Advantage, it's hard to deny the cost value to it as well. So you've got something that really is a win-win-win, in my opinion. I think carriers are winning with it. I think the government's winning with it. I think brokers are winning with it. And I think beneficiaries are winning with it. I think it's a great product. It's the future. Managed care, everybody.
Managed care, right? Closing out, this can kind of be my final thoughts, but like my final thoughts on Medicare Advantage is, there's a lot of insurance companies being investigated right now. Every insurance company that I can think of that's a massive one has been sued in a scandal, sanctioned, something in their history. This will pass. They're not going to get shut down. It will pass. So there's people that would point to being a seller of Medicare Advantage because of that. They'll probably get hit with some fine. They'll pay it. And then they'll be business as usual, and you'll forget that ever happened, right? I have so many memories of carriers being in super hot water or sued, class action lawsuits for this or for that. Nobody remembers. And I think long term, that's where this will be too.
Yeah, I totally agree. Guys, this was a really fun episode. I actually really enjoyed going through these different products, and hopefully, maybe we shed some insight on some of these different product lines that maybe you haven't thought about offering yet. Let us know in the comments below some of your buy, holds, and sells. You know, we'd love to hear from you guys especially if you have some differing opinions on what we were saying. Christian had a little bit that we were different on, but I'd say most of it we were on the same page with. Guys, Freebie Friday is today, not tomorrow, not a few days from now. Freebie Friday is today. So comment below, enter into the giveaway. We're giving away some extremely valuable access to the 7-Figure University. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Comment on today's stream or any of our previous streams from this week. This is our 4th stream of the week. Every comment on a stream is up to 1. So if you comment on every stream, you can have up to 4 entries into the giveaway. And by the end of the day today, we'll raffle off some winners. So do it. Comment.
Comment. Appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this kind of episode, you know, with this style of kind of format, you know, where we're kind of making it a little fun, you know, definitely let us know about it. Not to say the show's not always fun, but, you know, just something different. If you like this type of thing, let us know. We can try to.
Do you like fun? Do you like?
Tired of the old boring games? Tired of saying this isn't fun, Billy?
Dad, let's play insurance buy sell hold.
Oh, Billy, we just played that, said the dad. But it's my favorite. Oh, all right, you little whippersnapper, said dad.
Oh my gosh.
Appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. We'll be back next week. Special Friday edition. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on every platform. Give us 5-star reviews on every platform, and we'll see you on the next one. Here's to your success and your massive, massive abundance. Thanks, everybody.
Happy selling.